Look, I'm getting tired of piping body butter and I need a different way to package body butter. So I'm going to test out a different way to see how it compares to piping your body butter and if it's actually worth it and if it's up to par to the body butter that we actually already make. I know you're getting tired of it too, so let's try out this new way and see if it's even worth our time. Let's get right into it. Now, if you're interested in the formula that I'm going to be using for this video, I'll have it here so you can take a screenshot. But when it comes to this video, I'm more so just testing out the actual method more so than the formula. But if you're interested in the actual formula, you can go ahead and take a screenshot of that. Now, when it comes to the melt and pour method, I was kind of doing some research on body butter and packaging, and it was a method that I saw that came up, but I didn't really see a lot of videos or any like articles really going into how to do this process and how it actually worked. But I wanted to give it a try and test out some different ways to see how it would come out if I did try it out myself. Now, if you've been here for any length of time or if you're into formulating yourself, you know that when we start out with making body butter, we have to start with our heat phase and melt down all of our butters and oils. So we're going to start off with our mango butter, unrefined coconut oil. We're also going to be using safflower oil, which is a really great antioxidant and is really great for your skin and has a lot of healing properties for dry skin. Then we're going to also be using cetyl alcohol. Now this is really great as a thickener for this formula to really add in some more thickness and stabilize the product as well. So we're just going to put all of this in a heat safe bowl and add it to a double boiler to melt everything down. Once we have everything melted, what you're going to want to do here is allow it to cool. But when it comes to this melt and pour method, you don't want it to be that fluffy consistency that you are normally used to. It's going to be a little fluffy, but it's not going to have those soft peaks that you normally would like. So what you're going to do is allow it to cool down, but you don't want it to cool down so much that it's completely solidified in the bowl. You want it to be a little bit, you still want it to be a little loose and start to have a little bit of the solidification around the edges of the oil. So once you start to see that happen, then you want to take it out and you're going to use your blender and you're going to whisk that up to get a slightly fluffy consistency. It's going to be really smooth and it's going to be a really soft consistency, but it's not going to have any peaks to it or real thickness to it. Once you get to that consistency, then you're going to want to add in your arrowroot powder and your vitamin E, and that's just going to be in your cool down phase. And you want to make sure that you don't add it in while this formula is too hot. Just adding it in at the cool down phase is the perfect time. Then you're going to start to blend it up a little bit more, not blending it so much that you start to get the soft peaks. A good time frame is going to be about 5 minutes. So you want to whisk everything up for about 5 minutes to get a nice soft creamy consistency. From there, then you're going to actually pour it into the container that you plan on selling it in. So I just poured it into an 8-ounce jar. From there, you're just going to allow it to sit. You don't want to mix it, you don't want to touch it or anything. You're just going to leave it there to sit and solidify on its own. Now, this is the part that I start to get a little bit skeptical about this method because I'm a little worried about actually pouring it into the container. And so the only reason why I'm skeptical about this is because I want to make sure that all of the product is actually going into the bowl and that it does have somewhat of a fluffy consistency to it, even though we're not fully whipping it up. But we're gonna go ahead and pour it in and see what we get here. So after pouring it in and allowing it to sit for about 2 hours, you're going to get a more firm consistency that you are looking for when it comes to your body butter. Now I have to say, melt and pour body butter really has me skeptical because I'm not sure exactly if this texture is what you're normally looking for. But you have to let me know down below, have you heard of the melt and pour body butter method? Have you used it before? And let me know what you think about it down below. When it comes to actually feeling the texture of this body butter, I noticed that it doesn't have as much fluffiness as when you are mixing it up completely to have nice peaks, because that allows a lot more airiness into the product and as it allows it to be a lot more fluffy and it glides onto your skin a lot better. But with this method, I found that the texture wasn't as soft as I would normally be used to, and I felt like the product was a lot more dense. And when it comes to the melt and pour option, you are fully getting like that full 8 ounces when you're pouring it into the jar. But the one thing I can say is that since it's not as fluffy, it does feel a bit heavier of a product because you're obviously getting more in there, and it's not as airy as when you are fully mixing it up and you're getting the soft peaks. So just keep that in mind when when you are actually making your body butter, are you measuring it out properly to what it's supposed to be that you are selling it for? Let's be real, when it comes to pouring in your body butter, I think that when you pour it in, you're going to actually get your full 8-ounce or 10-ounce jar that it is that you're making, or 4 ounces, because it's going to fill up completely and there's not going to be a lot of airiness going on within the product. When you are piping your body butter, it's very airy because you have all of those soft peaks that you've created in your product, so it's going to be a lot fluffier of a product and have a lot more air bubbles when you are actually piping it into your container. Look, I know I was pretty skeptical about this method. I don't really think that it's something that I would actually switch to when it comes to making body butter and selling it. I feel like when it comes to the melt and pour option, I find that the melt and pour option can be a tad bit limiting when it comes to you being able to be a little bit more creative as far as your color schemes go. You can't really do the swirling of different colors. Even if you try to do 2 different colors, the colors will just mesh because it's a soft consistency, so it's not like they're going to sit on top of each other. So I just don't think that you're going to have as much creativity when it comes to your body butter, and a lot of times that's what people really love, is the creativity when it comes to being able to do different colors, when it comes to your fragrances, and having really pretty body butters, different designs that are particular to you and your brand, just to make your product look a lot prettier. So I do find that the melt and pour option is going to be a little bit limiting. But if you are a more natural company that's looking just to have solid colors, to just have more minimalistic coloring and just a more minimalistic looking line in general, and you just have soft colors, or you just have no colors added into it at all, and it's just really your fragrances that shine, then the melt and pour can really be a great option, because the piping isn't going to really be that big of a need, because you're not going to need to have different colors that you're trying to add in, and like different swirling and all that stuff that you're normally looking for when it comes to your body butter. So I think the melt and pour method does have its uses depending on your kind of business, or if you're just doing this for yourself, then you can definitely do the melt and pour option. But as for overall business wise, I think that when it comes to melt and pour, it may just be a little bit limiting depending on the type of business that you are trying to create. But now it's your turn. You have to try out this method and let me know what you think about it down below. And if you're looking for a different formula to try this out with that works more so for the winter time, watch this video here where I share with you how to make a winter ready body butter. And I'll catch you in the next one.